What a joy to be here today, and what an honor to speak on behalf of my colleagues, the graduates this year. Please don't cry, don't make me cry. I spent the last 7 years of my research studying the church architecture of Apostle Thomas in India. But I'm going to dedicate this speech to Apostle James, the patron of my country, Spain. And you will understand why. When I was a teenager and I was attending high school, I used to fail almost all subjects. And my tutor, one day, who was my English teacher, he called my dad and he said to my dad, "Don't waste time with your daughter because she's not suitable for studying." And my dad, he came home and said to me, "If you don't study, I will take you out of high school and I will put you in the field to herdship." Oh boy. So I did the best I could to pass all the exams. But English became my biggest failing subject. And I had to repeat course not only once, but twice. And the thing is that my father's threat increased. And I didn't know what else I could do. I had done my best to pass the exams, and I just felt very lost and frustrated and discouraged. And I didn't believe in God at the time. But one day I felt so lost and desperate that I decided to go to St. James Cathedral in Santiago de Compostela to pray and ask for guidance and support. And I still remember that day when I arrived to the main entrance in the Portico de la Gloria. I still remember kneeling down with my eyes closed and touching with my right hand the stone of the central stone in the Portico de la Gloria and touching my forehead in that stone and praying and asking for guidance in my life and help with my studies. And guess what happened? Things changed. Suddenly, I felt a calling to pursue arts. So I decided to change school. And suddenly, I started to get very good grades. And I started to win design competitions. So my family and friends were shocked. My dad was shocked. I was shocked. But during that time, I discovered my passion for architecture. And then I went to architectural school and I finished my degree with flying colors. But what I will never, ever imagine at that time is that I would be here today in Oxford, receiving a doctorate in sacred architecture. When according to my English teacher, I was not suitable for studying, and English was my biggest failing subject. And when I started this PhD journey here in OCMS, and we were through the RIS, the induction school, Professor David Singh, he encouraged us to choose a passage from the Bible and stick to it throughout all the arduous years of research that we had in front of us. So guess what I did? I opened the Bible straight away on the words of Apostle James. And the first words that I read were, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. If any of you lacks wisdom, you should ask God, who gives generously to all without fault." And that became my passage. And you cannot imagine how useful it was to put that passage into practice, especially during the most challenging times, because it hasn't been an easy journey to get here. We had to go through many trials, bridging the gap, and go through many ups and downs, dealing with uncertainty, as my colleague Karen said, but we kept going, as Clayton said. And one colleague once said to me, Julia, reaching here, it feels like climbing Mount Everest. And Swami Kriyananda used to say, no one reaches the top of a mountain by merely wishing to be up there. You have to walk the path and face trials and learn from them. So you grow and you end up being more mature and complete, not lacking anything. But we haven't walked that path alone. We did it with God's help. And as the Indian sage Paramahansa Yogananda used to say, God works through his many channels. So it's time to acknowledge all those channels who help us to get where we are today. So thanks to all our supervisors for walking this path with us, to all the scholars, academics, and research participants who contributed to our research. Thank you for helping us to grow stronger and wiser. To all the librarians for your vital support, to all the OCMS staff in all your respective roles, and of course the faculty and house tutors. Thanks for equipping us with all the tools to succeed. And of course to the alumni and all the colleagues who were ahead of us, guiding us, and to this support that we gave to one another in these writing sessions and in this community group. Thank you for your insights and prayers. And of course, to our families and friends for your unconditional love and support throughout this long journey. Thanks for believing in us. Papa, Mama, gracias. And of course, to all of you who came here to celebrate this very special day for all of us. And as we stand here, especially for all the PhD candidates, let's take perseverance forward and embrace life trials as an opportunity for further growth, because they are meant to help us mature and complete, not lacking anything. Thank you.
Julia Vidal Alvarez, Vastu Shastra for Christian Spiritual Well-Being in St. Thomas Ancient Church Architecture of the Malabar Coast, Southwest India, March 2025.